Jon Rasmussen was performing a routine Karo energy clearing on a client. The Karo are an indigenous lineage of Andean healers from Peru, and Rasmussen was calling upon their ancient spirits to clear the room. He executed the specific movement he had practiced for nearly 30 years, drawing energy down through the client's crown to the lower chakras, the body's central energy nodes, and moving breath back and forth across the lungs. Then he froze. Rasmussen realized his hands were inadvertently tracing the exact sign of the cross over the client's body. The physical overlap of these gestures is not a coincidence. These are identical ancient technologies built for human soul repair, operating across completely different cultures. To understand how this technology works, we have to look at the core vulnerability of the human soul. The Karo call this vulnerability hucha, the heavy accumulation of trauma, guilt, and shame. Both Catholic exorcists and indigenous shamans view these specific negative emotions as literal, exploitable access points for malevolent entities. This is an active, invisible war. Negative forces constantly attempt to siphon human life force through our unhealed wounds. Because humanity is under constant spiritual siege, we require a robust, engineered defense system to survive. The defense systems of both traditions share striking linguistic and functional similarities. The Karo call their sacred altar a misa. The Catholic Church calls its core ceremony the Mass. The physical architecture of a Catholic church functions as a highly specific healing tool. It utilizes sacred geometry and light therapy to physically and mentally shift the practitioner's state. Shamans use a microarchitecture to achieve the exact same result. They construct a misa or despacho, arranging physical offerings to anchor those identical divine forces. Both traditions recognize that you cannot fight this war in the abstract. You need highly specific physical environments to anchor spiritual power and protect the human practitioner from outside forces. The defense protocol requires identifying and severing the dark's access points. In Catholicism, this is the functional mechanic of speaking one's story through confession. There is a documented case of an apprentice exorcist whose commands failed completely against a demon. The demon recognized the apprentice's own unresolved guilt. Only after the exorcist confessed his hidden sins did the demon lose its leverage, allowing the commands to work. Darkness loses power when guilt is removed. Once the access points are closed, both traditions deploy their ultimate weapon, rituals that intentionally bring the divine directly into the human body. Notably, the words Mass and despacho both literally translate to send. This diagram shows the specific physical elements used to ingest this divine protection. On one side, the Catholic intake of bread and wine. On the other, the shamanic use of coca and fat. Both trigger a cascading purification effect throughout the human body. When you look at the carefully curated prayers and rituals of the Catholic Mass, they operate as a shamanic healing session maximized for ultimate efficiency. If both the indigenous and Catholic systems are effective technologies, why choose to exclusively align with one over the other? The answer comes down to the strategic concept of scale. Shamanism operates as a highly effective skirmish tactic. Catholicism provides the infrastructure of a massive army. A Catholic Mass is backed by an immense spiritual network. It combines the historical force of saints and angels with the exponential power of millions of gathered believers. In an escalating invisible war, ultimate protection requires choosing the side with an overwhelming historical and numerical advantage. Beyond present-day survival and defense, these ancient technologies target an ultimate evolutionary goal. The Karo hold an ancient prophecy regarding humanity's destiny, a biological and spiritual transition into Homo luminous, or beings of light. This indigenous prophecy directly connects to the ultimate Christian promise, the transfiguration of the cosmos and the physical resurrection of the body. By participating in these ancient spiritual technologies, humans transcend simple survival to engineer the final evolution of the universe, a new creation of light.